I built a barn from nuisance trees on my property, free tin and barn boards gathered and hauled away from collapsed barns in my area, and some discarded windows. In total, I spent under $1,000 to build the barn, and it was spent on things like fasteners like nails and screws, or paint, cement and gravel, and preservatives for the wood. It's 12 foot by 16 foot and is rustic as any barn around, but it's beautiful and useful as well. Let me give you a quick tour, then show you how it was built. Here's the front of the barn. You can see we got two big gooseneck lights coming out. I actually built those myself because they're so expensive to buy. The door here has a stop here and here, so that when these doors open, they've got something to keep them from swinging all the way open. And you can see here, I just created a connection between these two doors right here and here. That way they swing together. If you remove those pieces of wood, they'll swing separately. I usually use them as a whole. And I've got a hook on the top and the bottom, as well as a place to put a board if there's really bad weather coming. Up high here, you can see the purlins sticking out. Those are actually 2x4s. That's the only, milled lumber that I used in this construction. And you can also see the beam popping out right here and over here. Moving to the side of the barn, you can see the cupola way up high. And then this right here is just an awning. It's just a big tarp that I got from the local hardware store. I take it down every year in the winter because, well, snow would be far too heavy and it would collapse. But it's a great place to keep things during the summer. If we take a look around here, I chose to put in windows. You wouldn't need to on your barn, but this is just an equipment storage area, and it keeps them out of the rain and sun. You can also see here, among the Christmas lights, all of these rafters. They're popping out, and then I connected that awning onto the top of the rafters so that it is pretty secure along there. The back of the barn, I reused some more of these old windows that were scrounged. Again, you can see the purlins coming out right here and the rafters right here, as well as the beams popping out right here. I did cover all of the corners with an extra piece of barn board so that it would try to keep wood from wicking in there. On this side over here, usually there's a seat that's pushed all the way up against the wall so that you can sit, and this is a wood-burning stove that I use to cook pizzas. You can check that video out if you're interested. But I've moved them out of the way so we can see what's going on in here. Again, these are windows. And here's a little bit closer up of all the trim around a window. I just used barn boards. I even cut little pieces of trim right here so that I can cinch those windows into place. These right here are vinyl windows, so they're totally functional. You can lift them up and down and get airflow through here. Let's take a look inside. You can see I built just a little lip over this door. That keeps rain that's falling from getting right on top of this door right here. If we lift up our hook and have a look inside, this is farm stuff. I keep things like hand tools over here. There's some scythes, a sickle here. These are old barn boards and a big slab of walnut on top. There's posts and stuff for gardening. There's fences way up top here so that I can store fences up there, and of course my old canoe. Now while we're looking here, let's have a look at these windows. You can see the framing is just 2x4s in between the posts right here, and then 2x4s straight down, and then you can see I ripped little strips of barn board to hold those windows in place. Along the sides here, there's cross members that connect all of the posts everywhere that can be connected. Anywhere that wasn't a window, I've got those cross members connecting things all along here. At the top, you can see that there's a couple big boards that are connecting all the way across, and it's actually nailed into the rafters and into the beams. This keeps the beams from bowing out up there and gives the whole thing a bit more structural stability. Looking at the doorway, you can see we've got cross members everywhere that we can have it, a big beam over the door, and then you can see this beam right here is got a post nailed into it right there. I actually cut off the bottom of that post. It used to be connected into the ground during the construction phase. Okay, enough of the tour. Let's go on to how this thing is built. First, you're going to mark your holes. This thing's 12 foot by 16 foot. Measure your diagonals to make sure you're square. And then on the 16 foot sides, mark every 4 feet. On the 12 foot sides, just take a look at the diagram. It's not exactly symmetric, so you're going to need to follow this diagram exactly. Then every place that you have a mark for a post, you're going to dig down whatever your frost line is. I had to go down about 4 feet to make sure that these things aren't going to move. Step 2, gather up your posts and rafters and beams. For the posts, you're going to need 10 of them that are at least 14 feet long and 4 of them that are at least 18 feet long. That's, for the peaked sides. You're going to have some long and some short beams and about 20 rafters. You cut them to the dimensions shown right here. Now you don't need to buy dimensional lumber for this. Use trees that are on your property. I had lots of locusts invading the field, so I put them to use as posts. Around here the farmers say locusts last 1 year longer than stone. But to be safe, I treated the bottoms of all the posts with copper life. Now, for all of the beams and rafters, you can cut those with a chainsaw yourself. You don't have to buy these from your hardware store. If you don't know how to rough cut some dimensional lumber from tree trunks, see the video that I made here, or just watch this sped up version right here and you can get an idea of how to do it. Let all your beams, rafters, and posts dry for about 6 months before you... Time for step 3. You're going to put up your posts, beams, and rafters. First, you'll place the posts in the holes, but don't cement them in place yet. Just, kind of shove some wood around them so that they stay more or less upright. Place them so that the post heights are greater than what's shown here. You're obviously going to need the tallest in the middle so you can have the peak of the roof there. And take a chainsaw and cut off those posts to the heights that are shown. Next, you're going to cut notches at the top of all of those posts so that you can receive the beams and the rafters and have the weight of the beam sitting on the post rather than just on the fastener. And so here's a quick video about how those notches are going to help you secure this all together. In this corner you can see an example of notching. We've got a notch cut out so that the rafter fits into the post. We've got a notch cut out of this beam so that it fits tightly to the post. Then a notch cut out of the post so that this beam actually sits on it, and another notch on this side so that the beam will sit on that post. And then cross members all the way down. Next, you're going to hoist up the beams and set them onto those posts. You'll need strong ropes and pulleys and probably a couple pulleys to get the mechanical leverage here because these beams are very heavy. You may even need a hand come along to get those up there. Once they're in place on the posts and sitting on the notches that you cut, you can lag bolt those bolts to the posts. Now that you've secured the frame together, you can actually put some cement in all of those post holes and secure everything in place. Next, you're going to work on your rafters. First, you need to fine cut the rafters. That means cutting in the notches that you see here so that it'll fit securely around the top beam, and then birds for all of those side beams so that they'll fit right over the side beams. You're going to lift those into place. You probably just do that by hand with a ladder every 2 feet and secure them with lag screws and nails or whatever you have to secure. Now you can remove the trunk that was in the middle of the doorway. The front doorway had that big long trunk. Since we've mounted the beams and rafters, it's no longer needed and they're all secured. It's supported by the other beams. You can cut 2-inch thick lumber using the same method as before and use it as diagonal cross bracing, secured to every inside of every wall. So here's a little short video about the cross bracing. Along the sides here, there's cross members that connect all of the posts everywhere that can be connected. Anywhere that wasn't a window, I've got those cross members connecting things all along here. Next step, I cheated and I bought 2x4 dimensional lumber to make my life easy. It's the purlins. So I bought 18-foot long purlins, just 2x4s, and I nailed those to all of the rafters so that I would have a nice flat surface of purlins on which to mount the roof. I did sometimes have to take notches out of the rafters to keep the purlins straight, not bowing up and down to reach the rafters. You can also see along here, these are 2x4 purlins that I laid on and then notched the beams so that they would sit flat, and then screwed all of the tin into those 2x4s. Next, I used 8-foot 2x4s to frame up the windows. I made all the window frames the same way. Here's a quick video about that. You can see those in place. While we're looking here, let's have a look at these windows. You can see the framing is just 2x4s in between the posts right here, and then 2x4s straight down, and then you can see I ripped little strips of barn board to hold those windows in place. I did notch out the side posts so that the 2x4s for those window frames would fit securely. Next, you're going to secure your roof. If you're using an old metal roof like I did that you scrounged, first repaint it and fill any holes with a metal sealant from a caulk gun so that you have nice watertight tin that you're putting up. Use pole barn screws with rubber grommets to screw those to the purlins, fully covering the bottom of the rafters and leaving a gap at the top. So you want to overlap those tin sheets by 3 or more inches. Now the top is a bit special. You can see in this photo here, I actually bent a piece of tin and used it to make the peak of the roof so that it's covered on both sides on top. That's why I left the top gap open. Also, leave an opening because you're going to put a cupola on your barn. I created the frame of the cupola from 2x4s, and I actually hoisted it up there myself just to make sure that it would fit over the gap that I had cut in the tin roof. So you can see that in the picture here. Then you can take that frame down and you can go build the rest of the cupola just a little bit later. So now you have a roof on your barn and it's been screwed in place. The next step is to add shim boards. You can think of these as purlins, essentially, around all the walls. Because your posts aren't going to be perfectly straight, you're going to want to nail boards at the top and then above the windows and below the windows, and maybe another one on the very bottom of the ground. This gives you a nice vertical surface on which to nail your barn boards in the next step. So you're basically going to shim out all of those posts so that you have a flat surface to nail your barn boards onto. Now, take your old barn boards. I just used a chainsaw to cut these things into place. I cut them around the rafters, I cut them around the windows. You nail all these things up, and then you cut out your window holes, and it'll look something like this. Next, you're going to trim out your barn. This means trim around all of the windows and all of the corners. I did this so that I could keep a little bit of water from wicking into the barn or into those barn boards. So here's a quick video about the corners. I did cover all of the corners with an extra piece of barn board so that it would try to keep wood from wicking in there. And here's a quick view of what the trim windows look like. And here's a little bit closer up of all the trim around a window. I just used barn boards. I even cut little pieces of trim right here so that I can cinch those windows into place. Paint up all that trim nice and white so that you can have a good look here. Next, you're going to work on the cupola. So we already talked about how you'd cut your frame boards to make sure that it's going to fit tightly onto the roof. And you can see in this photo that the frame actually sits directly over a couple purlins. This will give you something really easy to screw your cupola into later. You're actually going to go right through those bottom 2x4s and into the purlin 2x4s. Frame up the cupola as shown. I put in the louvered gap windows there. That keeps rain from coming in because they're angled upwards. And then once you get it all painted up and put a little bit of tin roof on it, you're actually going to have to hoist this up there. I used a come along and a rope to pull it up the roof and then get it into place. I took off the tin roof, screwed all of those frame pieces in place, and then replaced the tin roof on top. Now you're going to add the doors. These are just 4 doors. Each of them is 3 foot by 5 foot. So you have a total opening of 6 feet between your posts there. And you're going to have to get some really big hinges. All you do is you set down, my barn boards were about 12 inches wide. So I set 3 of them side by side, 5 feet tall, and I put that Z pattern that you see on each of those doors right there. That diagonal and cross bracing just keeps those 3 planks together. And I set the hinges under the trim and above the barn boards on each of those. So I screwed the hinges into place, and then I took the other side of the hinge and I screwed it to those big posts that are on the inside of the barn frame. On these barn doors, you can see that right here is a hinge, and then right up top is a hinge. Now on the outside, I've actually hidden those hinges. I shoved the hinges under this piece of wood here and under this piece of wood here. Those are essentially, those white pieces are trim. The actual hinge is connected, to the functional wood. And then I just used big nails to connect the door into this Z pattern that you see here, and big nails to put all this trim on here. The door here has a stop here and here, so that when these doors open, they've got something to keep them from swinging all the way open. And you can see here, I just created a connection between these 2 doors right here and here. That way they swing together. If you remove those pieces of wood, they'll swing separately. I usually use them as a whole. And I've got a hook on the top and the bottom, as well as a place to put a board if there's really bad weather coming. Last, give the whole thing a snazzy paint job. Nice barn red. We actually matched the old barn board color. This came from my grandma's barn that had blown down about 20 years ago. So we matched the original color. And you can put on awnings, as you see in this photo here, and you can also put on optional lights, in the cupola, on the front gooseneck lights. We did some Christmas lights around it, for Christmas time. I don't actually have electrical hooked up, and we didn't plan for electrical on this, so I just ran an extension cord out to it. I can hook up power when I want. That's it. You got a barn. It looks cool. Enjoy. Let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more unique and useful do-it-yourself builds.